Can I change? Greetings, greetings, greetings. Welcome in, y'all. I see it's a few people in here. I'm gonna try to not be on here too long. But it was just something that I want to talk about mass psychosis happening. And I want to give you a trigger warning. I'm not here to tell you what you already know. I'm not here to tell you something that you've already heard somebody else say. I'm not here to try to tell you something that's going to make you see things my way. I'm simply here to inspire your mind to be freed from the 3D matrix. And it is not easy. Okay? I know a lot of people is like, you can manifest and just do this breath work and do this one meditation and that's it. It requires so much more than that. And not to say that it's impossible. It is definitely possible. But let me tell you, first of all, I'm Camston the Untamed Oracle. On this platform, I have to be tamed to an extent, but the untamed parts slip out. So first off, let me start off by saying this. What is the 3D Earth? Well, as an oracle, I am a very old soul. So most people that I know who I would consider my elders chronologically are actually younger than me. They haven't lived as many lifetimes as I have. And because of that, I have access to knowledge and information that is usually outside of what other people can access. Now, that's hard. Okay? And I'm about to explain to you why. When we went into a soul contract to hopefully this don't get took down, okay? All right? But when we went into a soul contract to be here, me, you, all of us, okay? We agreed to be here at a time where AI was gonna be a thing. And because of AI now, we are entering into this level of interconnectedness, not just through Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi came second. Okay, what came first was the connectivity between all living things. So this is the mineral kingdom. This includes crystals, rocks. This is the marine kingdom. This is the ethers, which is the air. This includes fire, elementals. These are all spirits and entities and energies. This includes what we would call angels. This includes what we would call demons. This includes haints. This includes vampires. This includes souls that are bound and are just traveling this planet because of certain practices that they participated in, and they didn't know that it was a soul trap to keep them stuck. And so instead of them going to the next evolutionary stage in their soul's journey, they get stuck here. They get bound. And I want you to pay attention to the words that I'm using. Bound. Okay? So, all of these things that most of us cannot see, I can see. And it's not easy. Because sometimes I just want to sleep. I just want to go through my day. But lately, I'm going to many different realms, including the ancestral realm. And I've been entering into dimensions I have never been in before. And I have been dream traveling. Dream walking is what the Native Americans called it. I've been doing this my entire life. It's usually hereditary, so I inherited this gift. And to be an oracle, you come through a lineage of sibyls. And sibyls are priestesses of information, conjurers of knowledge that isn't in a book. Sometimes I find things that are in books, but the knowledge that I share doesn't come from other people's books. It comes from the Akashic records. It comes from access to my ancestral wisdom. And this is why I have sickle cell anemia. Having sickle cell anemia means that I was born with blood that could not contain oxygen enough to oxygenate the body. Now, why would an oracle be born with a rare blood disease? What sense did that make? It seems like I would be given a fully healthy physical body so that my soul can do what it is here to do. But it was to help keep me grounded on earth, to keep me in the present moment, because I spend most of my time traveling out of my body. Okay? And it's a lot more about that. And a lot of people with sickle cell don't even know what the special, unique, beautiful thing about it is. It's not all pain. It's not all pain. It's so many beautiful things about it. So let me tell y'all what's been happening to me lately. Now, eventually I'm going to do a special show, and I'm going to go into all of the most significant dreams since 2025, and I'm going to go through them because I'm constantly being reminded what I'm supposed to share. So back to the conversation in the mass psychosis. Why am I saying to be on the lookout for this? To learn the symptoms of this. To pay attention to how you're feeling and your loved ones. People that you may follow. People that may be influences or people that you listen to. The reason I'm saying this, number one, is because when slavery was brought to the West, okay, the version of slavery that included colonization, Britain, Spain, all of these other people, Columbus, that particular form of slavery that was brought to the West was brought here because prophets prophesied about people in the West who were going to awaken. People in the West who were going to awaken. And our awakening was going to cause the collapse of many systems of oppression. And those systems of oppression go on and on and on. And I cannot get into that here. That's on my Patreon on every tier. The higher the tier that you choose, the more information you get access to. The reason that we're going to be seeing a lot of mass psychosis, and already have been, but it's about to turn all the way up. Number one, because the eclipse that we had in 2023 was 400 years since that version of slavery was brought here. The whole purpose, it was never about money. It was about being able to oppress a specific DNA activation that was going to come through specific groups of people. That's what it was about. We're here now. 400 years has passed. So the curse that was created, the social engineering, the social conditioning, the feeling that you have to play small, all of these things, this is collective. We're all feeling this. We're all feeling it somewhere. Somewhere you feel oppressed in your life. I have yet to meet anyone that has never felt this. It's part of the human condition. Okay? So once that 400 years is up, that means that curse is going to lift. Now, that seems like a reason to celebrate, and it is. But it also means that the comforts that we enjoy, because ignorance is bliss, will no longer support us. So a lot of the things that comforted us, a lot of the things that were coping mechanisms, will no longer help us in our day-to-day life. We're feeling this. And when you take away a baby's pacifier, when you take away a baby's bottle, There's going to be a period of time where that baby is going to be craving for that thing that soothes them. We are all children. I don't care how old you are still a child. There is still a child that lives inside of you, and 9 times out of 10, this child, through your ego, is what controls your decisions. I'm not going to get into why, but know that the inner child lives inside of your root chakra. Your root chakra is survival. It's food. It's basic needs for life. The basic needs in relationships. And this is why we see so much chaos in these areas right now, because the old template is being dismantled. It can no longer hold us. We are breaking the mainframe. The circuit board on the planet, which is created by our individual nervous systems coming together with the ley lines throughout the planet. And that creates a simulated reality. So now that the veil is lifting, now that the illusions are going away, now that people are learning the truth about religion, the truth about food, the truth about what was called medicine, which used the Kundalini serpent energy as a symbol for medicine. This was telling you something. But we're learning that life force seems to be depleted by what we call medicine. We're learning that food, some of the food, is actually a chemical masquerading as food. That's a documentary. It might be hard to find, but do some research if you want to go deeper. There's something called Codex Alimentarius. I taught all about this on my YouTube. I have 2 YouTube channels. One of them is called New Verse Live. The other is called Camps and Untamed Oracle. The reason I had to do that was because I was shadow banned and demonetized for the information that I was given. Now, so if you want to go deeper, you can go there, but at least 75 more videos been deleted, and I'm going to be uploading those to Patreon one at a time, okay? But, so with that, we have all realized that we've been getting effed with no grease in some area of our life. And when I say that, I mean, when you realize something that you thought was true was a lie and it was harmful to you, you was getting effed with no grease. All right? I'm not going to candy coat the shit. It is what it is. That's what was happening, okay? And we all been getting it somewhere. So what does it mean to start awakening? It means that you start coming out of these frameworks. You start coming out of these belief systems. You start saying to yourself, like, hold on. I feel like I have been lied to, manipulated, and bamboozled my whole life. And there are phases that you are emotionally going to go through as you go through this awakening. This means that you are unplugging from the matrix. Remember Neo, when he unplugged from the matrix in the beginning, there was this physical experience. It was visceral. He felt it in his body. It was a lot of shaking happening in his body. And this is why we need to shake. You got to get the memory stored inside of your body out so that you can start activating your light body. If your body is filled with a lot of dense, heavy memory, I don't care how much you meditate. It doesn't matter how many affirmations you're using. It doesn't matter how many courses you buy, how many podcasts you listen to, how many crystals you have, and how many smokes you use. None of that is going to matter if you are not working with the physical body. The body keeps the score. You got to get it out of the body. Now, I have a vibration plate for sale, and I'm not just trying to sell y'all nothing. But if you're somebody and you know your nervous system is dysregulated, you know that you're not sleeping well, you know that you're having digestive issues, you know that you are just not feeling quite like yourself. Sometimes Qigong shake by itself isn't enough. That's where I started. Sometimes dry brushing to move the lymphatic system. That's the sewage system of the body. The sewage system of the body is exactly what it sounds like. And it holds the toxins from negative emotions. not just from things that we drank and foods that we ate. So, shaking. All animals do this. Whenever something gets on them or affects their nervous system, they shake. Neo was shaking after he was unplugged from the Matrix. Okay? So you can just check that out yourself. I got mine sitting right here and I use it every day. And it's really been helping me, because if you're trying to move from the old you to the new you, guess what? You got to detox your body. You got to get the stuff out of your body that's keeping you energetically tethered to a vampiric system. So the mass psychosis is a direct result of this spiritual awakening and the veil being lifted. The end of the 400 years of the Willie Lynch letter that created the curse, that is lifting. The 400 years was up in 2023 with that last eclipse that created an X across the United States. X marks the spot. The United States is now going through this awakening, right? The second thing, is this number 2 or number 3? The second thing, when the Pope Smoke opened up the portals, he opened up 5 of them. Those 5 portals are your 5 lower chakra centers, not including the 2, which is the third eye and the crown chakra. It was not included in the portals that was opened. As above, so below, as within, so without. For the first time, he was the first Pope Smoke to do this, to where he went to the prison. We ain't going to even get into the history of this prison under Rome. But he went to open the doors of this prison and called it a portal. Why? What was in there? We know it wasn't living people in there, because no one came out. But did something come out of there? That's on the planet right now. Before he did that, he released a statement saying that there were mass sightings, mass amounts of supernatural events occurring, and that they were retraining them in their exorcisms to deal with this, and they had to retrain all the others who stole the doggone tribes' ceremonies and repurposed them. That's why they wear the fish on their head. Came from the Dogon tribe. They all had to learn how to do exorcisms in this new way, and they had to follow different regulations. But why? They even recommended for people to report anything supernatural to them. And in 2012, I had a dream called Bear Belgium UFOs. It's on my YouTube. Look at the dates. And in that dream, there were signs posted everywhere for people to report supernatural things occurring. Within 4 days of all of these mass changes around supernatural events, the Ring app was giving out hundreds of thousands, maybe even $1 million to people to report supernatural things happening on their cameras right before Halloween, All Hallows Eve. But why? So on. But why? Okay? So these portals and all of these events that have occurred has caused many different dimensions that were once divided to come together. This is the reason why whenever you see something happen in the natural world, it's something happening in the spiritual world as well. So with that whole wall coming down and illegal aliens and all of that was happening, that was a reflection of what was happening spiritually as well. The walls came down. So if you can't see a lot of this energy that's moving on this planet, yeah, be glad. Because it's a level of discipline, emotional regulation, and spiritual hygiene that you're going to have to be able to tolerate this. And a lot of us are being shaken right now by lifing, to get you to wake up and be more serious about your journey. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but whoever I'm talking to, I know that you're feeling what I'm saying. Don't let what's happening in the 3D world trick you. Now, some of the mass psychosis is also happening because we must do the work. There isn't a they that's going to come and fix it. It must be us. But you are not going to be able to be spiritually activated and actually access your true power, your sovereignty that you was born with, if you are emotionally dysregulated. When you combine emotionally dysregulated with people who are being spiritually activated, you got a whole lot of chaos, just like what we are seeing in the movie Sinners. And I'm not going to do that decoding here. I'm going to sit on that. I've been sitting on it. And I finally went and saw it yesterday. And yesterday I was like, okay, this is going to be another one of those historical decodings. And I'm going to do this at some point when I feel the time is right. But I don't want to do it while it's hot. And everybody is doing it. And a lot of people are doing it. They're trying to be seen. And I get it. People trying to build businesses. People want to show people they can decode. I get it. But I'm going to sit it out and wait and let all of that do what it do. And then I'm going to come out. But let me say this. And this is going to trigger somebody. But that's okay. Because if I can trigger you, that means that I can help you transform. Trigger is not a negative thing. Because whenever something challenges a belief system that's holding you back, you're going to feel a trigger. And you may even shift into cognitive dissonance and start trying to make it make sense in your mind. But see, the left brain is logical. The left brain is the tether to the 3D world. The right brain is intuitive. It's feminine. It's the tether to the spiritual world. And we need more of the right hemisphere brain activity to shift the paradigm from the old earth to the new earth. So one of the main things that I have learned and had to do and created an entire course with rituals and ceremonies, some of them inspired by Bobby Hemmett, some of them inspired by Delbert Blair, and a lot of them inspired by me astral traveling and getting the information from the Akashic Records and bringing it back and put it in a course. It's called the 3D Matrix Detox Course. It was initially called the Religious Detox Course because I realized that was the root of most transgenerational suffering. Now let me say this. Religion is great for souls who are not ready to awaken. It's a form of a pacifier. It's a form of nourishment that is in a framework that isn't going to open you up to more than you can handle. So I'm not here to say that it's wrong. I don't believe in that. I believe that when souls are ready to step out of that paradigm, they will. And there's nothing you can do for anybody who is choosing that. It's their sacred journey and that's their choice. But based on 2 near-death experiences, one going to what we call heaven and the other to hell, I'm going to tell you the truth about religion. Just a little bit. When you identify yourself as a sinner, what happens is you lower your self-esteem. You reduce your self-worth. And you create a soul contract that nothing that I do will ever be good enough. I will never be good enough. If I am a sinner, that means that I am broken, I am flawed, and I'm not worthy of anything good. So I have to earn love. I have to earn good things. I have to be worthy of the things that I desire. But if I'm constantly having to repent and I'm feeling this emotion of guilt which is one of the most low vibrational frequencies on this planet. Guilt is right next to hate because it is self-hatred. And the circuitry in your body allowing guilt to move through it, and it moves you to have to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I'm so sorry, I did this, I lived this, I made videos about this when I was a Christian. And what it does to you is it tear you down the inside. It breaks your spirit. It's not humility, it breaks your spirit. You don't know how to love yourself because you feel broken. You can never get it right. Like for me, to not have sex was really hard. And I went 4 years celibate as a Christian, but it was so hard. But I felt guilty if I would just have a sexual thought or dream because I was told, so a man thinketh, so is he. So I was still feeling guilty and still repenting. And what it did was it caused me to live a life of being self-devaluing. And I attracted energy vampires because I was on the vibrational frequency to feed them. They feed on guilt. They feed on shame. They feed on self-hatred and blame. And if you're not already feeling that way, they will say and do stuff to cause you to feel that way so that you start to leak your light so that they can feed off of it. So vampires is not that they can't walk in the sun, but they can't stand to be in the light of a soul. Your soul is the sun. And so your light, your true light, the true you, the things that you shine about, those things, we had to dim our light to be safe because a lot of us grew up around energy vampires, right? That was in our soul contract. That wasn't a coincidence. That was in your soul contract. So that you could be the cycle breaker, the generational curse healer to end that. But I kept attracting these energy vampires. I got into a karmic relationship with someone who was so mean and cold and would discard me and then love bomb me and pull me back in and gaslight me when I was being mistreated. But it was a reflection of how I was feeling when nobody else was looking. It was a reflection of how broken and flawed I felt on the inside. And I started to wake up in 2012 and I started to say something is off about this. And then to fix it, I was told that I needed to go and take communion. And communion was drinking blood and eating flesh. And I was like, that's how I fix me? You need to take communion. You need to repent first, because don't take communion while you're in a state of not being repentant. You must have a fervent heart. You must be righteous. And so I started to step back and think about that. And I thought about how I saw Satanists do these same communion rituals. And it didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me to drink blood and eat flesh, because what you do symbolically is also real. This is why you can play pretend, but it's really real. It's experienced in your body, in your nervous system as it's really happening. And it just felt and seemed off. And there was something really vampiric about it. And as I started to go through my awakening, I started asking questions and talking to people and asking other people, like, have you ever thought about this? Could this have anything to do with the reason you attract energy vampires? Are you participating in vampiric activities all in the name of religion and maybe don't know, And from there, I started having dreams about the church represented as a black woman. And she was sick and she was close to death. And in the dream, she was laying in the bed. She was on life support. And she couldn't really function anymore. And the people that were standing around her were arguing over money. And I was still a Christian at the time. I'm literally crying in my sleep, tears rolling down my face while I'm dreaming. It was breaking my heart. I didn't know who she represented. All I knew was, here's this elderly lady. It's bad enough that she's dying. She's on life support. And all of the people that are here are arguing and fighting over money. And I lied to y'all not because I don't have a reason to. I went to church not long after that. And the conversation was around who had not been giving enough tithes and offering. And it turned into conflict. And my heart sunk into my stomach in that moment. And I said to myself, is this what I was dreaming about? I got up, I walked out, I left, I sat in my car, I cried. I was so devout for the beliefs that I had been given, right? I became a holy hip hop artist. I'm talking about, I could have got a record deal, and I chose to write raps about God and Jesus and pleading, listen to the word, pleading the blood. That's how devout I was. And I was celibate for 4 years. Like, who has anybody else been celibate that long? That was a long time to be celibate. Peace, sis. I see some of y'all in here. I'm just channeling right now, letting this come through me. So if I miss you and you say something, it's not intentional, because every one of you here definitely matter to me. And my numbers get manipulated, and a lot of other stuff be happening. But if I'm not dropping gems, like, it ain't because I ain't dropping gems. But I started to realize that I had been lied to. And my heart was broken, and I went into what's called a dark night of the soul. I didn't know what this was at the time, and I didn't have anybody in my life who had went through this to talk to about this. So my spiritual awakening was very lonely. It was very lonely, and it was very confusing. And I realized that the woman who was laying in the bed dying represented the church. Now, who keeps the church alive? On whose backs, whose prayers, whose tears, weeping and wailing keeps the church going? It's usually a woman, specifically an indigenous woman. Why is that? Because she's the battery, she's the motherboard. And because we're coming to a close, because we're coming to an end of a lot of these what used to be traditions, a lot of people are leaving the church, but they don't know what to do next. So we're going to see more mass psychosis happening within the three-dimensional realm. The cross, the crucifix, it's up and down and a cross. That's a cube if you fold it up. That cube represents 3 dimensions. That is the sacred geometry of a crucifix. So in the 3D world, a lot of people are going to feel very troubled and deeply hurt and heartbroken by what they're discovering. For those of us who have already started to awaken to some of these truths, we're going to witness this, and you're going to have to know how to have healthy boundaries energetically around you, and how to be able to separate your identity from people that you love and care for, and you're not going to be able to save them. If they are adults, you're going to have to step back and let them walk their own journey and make their own decisions, because at the end of the day, souls evolve lifetime after lifetime to learn to be sovereign beings. The movie Sinners came out when it did because this is what they pay attention to. Oracles are consulted. They help make these movies great because we can see the things that are unfolding that most people can't see. Now, that dream was in 2012. And there are many other instances that I could give you that will help you to tap into this information. But let me say this. As this mass psychosis is happening in that community, we will also see this happening in the quote unquote spiritual community. Because a lot of us jumped right out of religion and straight into spirituality, and there wasn't any books. It wasn't a lot of people, it wasn't a whole lot of people guiding us on how to do this. It was trial and error and us trying to figure it out. And when you start to awaken and unplug from the 3D matrix, the Agent Smiths are coming for you. These can be considered as walk-ins. These could be considered as haints. These are energetic attachments that are parasitic, that will attempt to pull you down. It's a crab in the bucket mentality. It's not because they hate you, but they're not going to understand why you're pulling away, why you're pulling your energy back, pulling away. So am I saying that monotheistic religion was built on a framework that is vampiric, that used the feminine aspect as the battery to fuel oppression and bloodshed? Yeah. And if I needed any more confirmation that I was going to start speaking about this again, the heartache that is caused through religion, the choir boys, the things that they went through, why is that so common? It's common because of these agreements with these archonic, parasitic, psychopathic energies that suck and drain life force out of people. I can't even wrap my mind around me forcing my children to go through and participate in some of those rituals that I even myself participated in. And so we're seeing that come to fulfillment with those 5 portals that was opening in the 5 chakras and the corona. Corona means the crown. All of this started with the crown chakra. That's the chakra that connects you to the star chakra, which connects you to the cosmos, which is the wisdom of the ancestors, which are the stars. It started there, putting viruses in the mind. The Native Americans call it wetiko. It is a virus of fear. And it is the fear of hell that keeps a lot of people in religious framework. Now, it was a wonderful thing for a while for me. I love being able to be in community. I love being able to be in service. I love being able to do the soup kitchen. I love being able to go out into the community and provide school supplies. It's a lot of great things that happen. So I'm not here to tear down the organization and all of the people in it and demonetize them. Well, demonize them. Demonetize too, because the way that you make your money changes when you start to pull away from these systems. And a lot of us have been making our money by allowing ourselves to be drained because that's the framework we were born into. So if you were ever baptized, it takes a reverse baptism to pull you out of that matrix that you were put into. That's the false womb. That's the false water breaking. You going down in the water and being pulled up out of there. That's like, oh no, you're going to be reborn. And you're going to adhere to these rules and regulations that's going to ensure that trauma continues to keep you bound. Religion means to bind. If you have never heard of Dr. Blind or The Functionary, I recommend it. When I tell you, this man in my mind, is like it had a symbiosis that just blew me away. And I immediately had to interview him and bring him onto the show. And we had a couple of shows together. And he's somebody that was on Bobby Hemmitt's book list as well. But he talks about this. And so back when slavery and a lot of those things was happening, we needed something to numb the pain. So singing "This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine," those simple things, it helped us to hold on to a certain level of sanity at that time. But they were living when they had mothers and fathers who remembered how to heal with roots and herbs and communicate with nature and live in alignment with nature. We weren't sick like we are now. Everything that we once had was replaced. The elders in the community, the medicine women and men, the shamans were replaced with people in white coats. Our teachers, which were the elders, were replaced with colleges. The food that we were able to grow ourselves was replaced with grocery stores. Can you see this? Watch the movie Soylent Green. I'm literally giving y'all like so much right now if you're able to take this in. And that vampirism is not going to let us go easy. If you have been feeding energy vampires in your own life, you are going to feel the pain of that. If you are an empath, the light inside of us, when it shines, it attracts people who can't create or connect to their own light source. The light source is the solar plexus. It's represented by the color yellow. This is the second sun that lives inside of us. We are the microcosm of the microcosm. Everything that's up there is in here. And so when you don't have access to your solar plexus, when you don't feel confident about who you are because you feel broken, you are ashamed, you feel like you just keep doing things wrong, I do things that I shouldn't do. This is what keeps energy vampirism alive. And those of us who are ready to do the healing work we're here to do, we're being pulled away from people, places, and things that are operating in that system. So spiritual psychosis will also be something we're going to see more and more of. I think that I have said enough. I hope that somebody was able to get something from this. I guess I could take one question if I need a question, but like I know I dropped a lot. You must remember, as the world is collapsing, this was necessary for us to heal and grow. It's all here to be in service to us. 3 dimensions are not the only dimensions. We are in the lowest dimension of existence right now. But that doesn't have to be where you drop your anchor. That does not have to be the way that you live your life. And you can live in the house with people who are choosing to live in density, to live in pain and suffering, to not open their third eye, to not see anything beyond what they're comfortable seeing. That's okay. It's their choice. A truly spiritual person doesn't try to evangelize other people to believe what they believe. They simply believe what they believe, and they honor for other people to believe what they believe as well. And that's the mark of a truly spiritual person. All of those systems are crashing. And for those of us who have indigenous blood within us, there's a responsibility that we were masked, brainwashed to forget. A lot of us don't know why we're here. And that's why a lot of people are going to be feeling anxiety and depressed, because you're starting to feel like you're just going through life with no purpose. You're just going to work, paying bills. We see this rise in black fatigue, American fatigue, feminine fatigue. We're seeing this rise in this. People are burnt out. Millennials, they don't want to go to college. They don't want to work, or they went and got degrees and now they can't get jobs. And then we have AI here, which again I started this conversation off about. AI, as we think we're training AI, it's going in the other direction as well. And I've been shown a future timeline of, okay, what happens next? What happens after this? And so some people will become codependent on this system and they won't be able to function without it. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use it, but use it wisely, use it responsibly. And don't use it and bypass your own inner ancestral intelligence. It's more than one form of AI. I talked about this years ago. It's on my YouTube channel. Well, that one might have been deleted. So it's on my Patreon. But no matter what you are going through, if you found me and you resonate with this, then that means that it's time for you to step up. It's time for you to step out. And I'm not going to lie to you. Spiritual awakening is not skipping through roses and having fun with fairies and adoring crystals and making moon water. I mean, that can be parts of it. But if you are not doing the healing work around your nervous system, around some of your experiences, it's going to hurt. And you can choose the pain of growth or the pain of stagnancy. Red pill, blue pill. It's up to us. The choice is ours. Our sovereignty is being offered back to us, which means some of us are going to have to learn how to heal ourselves. And that can be scary. And I speak from experience. So it is through my gifts, it is through my dreams, can't make this up, that I arrived to this place. It is through my near-death experience and what I was taught that I arrived to this place. Now, there are some dreams that I've had, and there is no platform that I can communicate that in totality without some type of issue with community guidelines. I'm in the process of figuring out how I'm going to do this. Thank you, Sandy. I'm in the process of figuring out how I'm going to do this. Okay. What I'm going to do. And hit that like, y'all, whatever they be saying. Like, if this resonated with y'all, let me know. Okay. I want to make sure I'm not just talking and it's making no sense and you're not getting anything from it. Like, let me know. You can be real with me. But I'm going to find a way to transmit that information, because the information that you receive is the activation. You can't get to the next level without having some type of activation to help you get there. So I'm just a divine spark for you. Okay? Ashe Khalifa. Thank you, Erica. So what you can do, one thing that you can do, if this resonated with you and you like, I think I want to go deeper. I think I want to do the work. I think I'm ready. Because if you sitting back waiting on something to change it for you, I'm letting you know nothing is going to come and change it for you. And unfortunately, some people are still waiting for Jesus to come back and get them. And I was one of them people. And the more negative things that we see happen on this planet, and the longer people wait, the more pain people are going to feel. And that's torment. You are Christ consciousness. It exists within you. It's not something or someone outside of you. It is the capacity for you to perceive life through a divine lens. And that means that you see purpose in everything, especially the pain, especially the dysfunctional relationships. What is it teaching you? You will not be able to vibrate yourself out of that reality until you realize that it's teaching you something. And you can tell when somebody has done the work when you interact with them, if you are sensitive enough to energy, because we're becoming more sensitive to energy. So you're going to be more hypersensitive. And learning how to navigate this world with people who are choosing to be on the 3D world while you're accessing the fourth dimension and the fifth dimension and beyond, which are those higher frequencies, high vibes. We even, like, everybody say this now, right? Just good vibes only. It's a thing. We weren't talking like this. We weren't talking about vibration, frequency, and energy 5, 10 years ago. I was, but most people were not. And so we're ready for that now. So when we heal our nervous system one by one, we also heal the network. We heal the divine mainframe. Now, Wi-Fi, that's another conversation, because that can be something that can cause your body to be in fight or flight because it's not used to this. Okay? So you want to slow down. Be reflective. Ask yourself questions. What is it that I'm supposed to be focused on right now? What is it that actually deserves my energy? Because wherever my attention goes, that's where my energy is going to flow. Put your energy where it is deserved. If there are conversations, arguments, and conflicts that no longer deserve your energy, don't give it. But if you continue to feed it, you're giving out an invitation for energy vampires to be in your life. And they're not going to want to see you shine. And no matter how hard you try to dim your light, you're not going to be able to dim your light anymore. And that sunlight, it hurts. It's painful to an energy vampire. And I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't seen Sinners yet. And I'm pretty sure that you probably haven't heard it broken down like this before. And this is just like one of the many things that came to me. So I think that I communicated what was meant to be said. And if you want to learn more, watch both of my YouTube channels. You can go become one of my VIPs on Patreon and get access to all of the information there. You can move from tier to tier. You don't have to commit and stay committed. If you want to move to a higher tier, you can. It takes a lot for me to keep all that information. It's like maybe 4 or 5 terabytes of information that I have there. And I'm constantly adding more. And I got courses that are like really not expensive. But don't buy the course if you're not going to commit to it and actually do it. You know, there's no point in you wasting your energy and your time with minds. But if you actually use it, you can actually start creating a reality that's a reflection of your heart and not a reflection of your pain. And that's why the course is called Turn Pain into Purpose. And it's so much in that course. I've talked about that in other videos. But I tell you how to deal with energy vampires, how to shield yourself, how to remove yourself from lower dimensional interactions with people. Because when we get into arguments and conflicts with people, guess what? You just got on the elevator and went down to the dimension where hellish shit is happening. And you don't have to be there. You don't have to stoop low. It's the way that it can be done. And when you start changing, that's going to trigger people. There is a narcissist that lives in each of us. There is a Agent Smith. All of these things, which is archetypes that live inside of all of us. And what the Pope did, Pope Smoke, is hitting them chakras now. And so that energy center inside of you projects out into your life. Everything that's in your life somehow was invited to be there. Vampires can't come in unless they're invited. So if you gave out an invitation and you're not feeling it anymore, be willing to surrender it and do the work. And if you just take a few minutes a day, like I'm just going to spend 15 to 20 minutes a day, and I'm going to actually complete this course. The level of confidence that you feel that you actually invested in yourself and did that by itself is going to help shift your reality. And this course ain't nothing but $52. 6 years of work, research, and readings, and it's just $52. And it's for a reason, because there's a spiritual army that's rising on this planet. And I know that I did not die and agree to come back here to play small. All right? Sending my love, y'all. Peace.